Okie dokie. So in order for us to fix the issue where anyone can just come and basically say account balance, so here direct access to our balance and change it to whatever number they want. So to fix this issue, what we need to do is inside of the bank account class, we have to use the private access modifier. And you've learned about public, private, and protected, which I'm going to teach you in a second or later. And basically package protected, right? So here, basically anything can have access. So if it's package protected or public as well, so public, anyone can have direct access to this balance, right? But we don't want this. So here we want to say private. Now, if I go back to main, check this out. So this now fails, and also all invocations to balance indeed fail, right? Because now direct access to balance is not possible. Now, how do we access balance or even set the balance? Well, that is through, we've learned before about getters and setters. So here, which we don't have, so let's just have a getter, so get and then balance. Now if I go back to main, so this is now us having full control and letting anyone that is using this bank account to know how to access the balance, which is through the getters. So let me just select that, Control G a couple of times, and so let me just say dot and then get balance, and on this one I'm going to say get balance, because otherwise it will do the same for here, and that's not what I want. All right, cool. So this now fixes this issue, and if I comment this, we are able to run our program as before. Nice. Now what about this issue here? So where we have account.balance, so let's just uncomment this. So we had direct access to account.balance, but basically now I want to limit how the user of this bank account can set the balance. So to do that, we can do through. So before we had getters and also setter. So we can say set balance in here, and it says this dot balance equals to balance. So let's just go back for a second, and here I can say now account dot and then set and then balance, just like that. And there we go. So now we don't have access to the internals of the balance property. Now this still doesn't fix the issue where we can actually add in any number, but the benefit now is if I go back to bank account, now you can limit how this balance here can be set. So maybe there's a limit for the balance that someone can have. Maybe someone is brand new and you want to limit how much money they can have. Maybe they're a fraudster and they're trying to basically hide money and whatnot. But in here, if they try and say, for example, a balance bigger than maybe what you limit in here, you can say if and then the balance equals to the limit, then maybe you don't want to set the balance. Otherwise, you can set the balance in here. So here at this point, you have full control of how you can set the balance. So this is how you should do things. So if I scroll up, now we have to fix also the name. So let's just say private, and the same for the overdraft. So basically, you can see that through encapsulation, we can hide data. So through encapsulation, we can hide data, and encapsulation is not the process of hiding data. Hopefully this makes sense. So you've seen that I've explained this briefly in the previous section where we learned about pojos and beans and getters, setters, toString, and all of that shenanigans. But I didn't give you the actual definition and why. But basically now, hopefully everything is starting to make sense. So let's just generate the getters and setters. So as before, if I use IntelliJ to generate the getters and setters, there we go. Okay. And I think we are good to go. And the last thing we need is, as always, So equals, there we go, and also toString. There we go, toString. Cool. So I think this is pretty much a much better bank account, and hopefully this makes sense. So why this is private, what is encapsulation, and the benefits of encapsulation. So now you have full control of how others consume your bank account. And let's say that the internals of maybe how you withdraw money changes, or how you set the balance is, if all of that changes, then you can basically make those changes without the clients notice the behavior, because the way that they can access the methods is through the public interface. But at the same time, you can have full control of how the state is stored, and you can decide what is available to the outside world. So maybe you have a private field in here which you don't necessarily want to expose directly, or maybe you need to perform a computation before you expose the data. Then you can do it with this method. All right, so if you have any questions on encapsulation, please do let me know. Otherwise, catch me on the next one.